mile 11, 6:05. Here's my guess. Cruel intentions. I gotta go push my wife.
Don't worry, baby. I'm coming. I'm coming. My quads. Oh, my glute me. This is going to be a long one, guys. So with my ADD, I'm going to cut this up into chapters. Chapter 1, the Austin International Half Marathon. Chapter 2, pre-race. Chapter 3, the actual race, me guessing my splits. Chapter 4, 10 takeaways. Chapter 5, or really an epilogue, it's a call to action. Let's get to it. Okay, Chapter 1, the Austin International Half Marathon, formerly the Austin 3M Half Marathon, or I like to say, the best kept half marathon secret in the US. Why is it a secret? Well, it's because the Houston Marathon falls on the same weekend, or sometimes the weekend before, the weekend after. And if you're a runner in Texas, you're probably only going to pick one of those races. And Houston, rightfully so, gets the hype, it gets the spotlight. Now, there are a few things that you need to know about the Austin International Half. The first and most important thing that you need to know is that it's a cheater course, okay? It is net downhill, negative 300 feet of elevation gain. We call that loss. Okay, so you start in North Austin and you make your way down to downtown. It kind of reminds me of the Jack and Jill Marathon or the Rebel Series. I've never run one, but I do understand that they start up really high at a high elevation and you just basically run downhill. So is it really a PR? No. Am I gonna put it on the thumbnail? Yeah, but do I consider it a PR? Probably not. Another thing you need to know about AIH is that it is sponsored by BPN, which means the BPN boys are in attendance, along with all of the running influencers of Austin, the offluencers like Matt Choi, Jeremy Miller, they're all in attendance. The next thing you need to know about the Austin International Half is that it is a medium-sized race. Okay, that means there's only 5,000 runners. So this is more than a local race, and of course, not as big as a major or Houston. As a consequence, the expo is relatively easy to get in and out. It's held at the Palmer Center. Okay, and the last thing that you need to know about AIH is that it is up in North Austin near a place called The Domain. The Domain is an outdoor mall shopping area, 100 stores and restaurants. It's great to bring the family and also sneak in a date with the wife, which is what I did. I went to a place called Mia the night before for some Italian to get some carbs in. Okay, Chapter 2, pre-race. Let's start with the carb load. Now, I bought a loaf of sourdough because it was trending on TikTok. Oh, I'm sorry, too soon. Anyway, I don't track what I eat with the carbs. I just make sure that what I'm eating is mostly carbs. On the drive up to Austin, me and the wife, we stopped at Buc-ee's, got a couple of bricks of Rice Krispie treats. I got a bag of dried mangoes. I even bought a 7.5 gallon bucket of bacon grease. Jokes aside, it was a 2-day carb load. I don't track all the details because I try not to get in my head about it. Also, it's a half marathon. Now let's move to race day morning. Guys, I hate race day mornings. I hate the taper. I hate the night before the race. It's all the nerves. It's all the anxiety. But I'm just trying to convince my brain it doesn't matter, bro. It's not even an A race. Why are you freaking out? Why you got nerves? Oh, it doesn't even matter. Okay, so I wake up early enough to go to the bathroom 4 times. Now the temperatures, it's 27 degrees outside, feels like 11, so I wear 3 layers, a long sleeve race shirt, I put a hoodie on over that, and then a long sleeve jacket, light puffy jacket, but not too thick. Now, where I was staying was about 1/3 of a mile north of the 2-mile marker for the course. So I just ran down to the 2-mile marker. And then since the roads were closed off, I ran the 2 miles to the start line. The more miles, the better to warm up in that kind of weather. After which I did a few strides. I hopped into the corral. I saw Nick Bear standing there and the BPN boys. They went for a little jog, and I found a group to huddle up behind and stay warm. Now, I hate the cold as much as anybody else, but given the choice of being cold for 30 minutes to an hour before a very cold race, or being comfortable for those 30 minutes to an hour, and then going off into a race which is gonna get a little bit too warm, I prefer the first option. That being said, I still don't like to feel cold. So I tried to surround myself with as many tall runners as I possibly could. And this is a medium-sized race, okay? So there's like 50 elite runners, Floberg included up there in the 115 and under kind of time zone, right? And then immediately after that is 130. Okay, there's no room for 120 or kind of where around I would be running at. So I chose to stay a little bit behind the 130 group, knowing full well that when the gun goes off, I'm gonna have to plow through all of these people to get to where I probably need to be. Yeah, I chose violence. Now let's get to the race already. All right, the goal of the race was to run by feel and to guess my splits, to turn the camera on at every mile and tell you what I think I'm running, and then go back later and see what I actually ran.
All right, Austin International Half Marathon. Today we are running this race by effort. I'm not gonna look at my watch once. All right, I gotta get this square off.
So here we go. Okay, mile 1 was very trippy because I haven't been running a whole lot of half marathons. In fact, the last half marathon that I ran was over a year ago, and I was being paced by my coach, so I didn't even have to think about it. The half marathon before that was the Austin 3M half marathon 2 years ago. And in those 2 years, I have run exactly 5 marathons. And so when I set out for this race, I felt my body naturally setting into marathon pace. And it's weird because like as you move with the herd, they're all moving at the same pace. So it's kind of deceiving because you don't know what their times are or their fitness or what they're capable of running, if they're going out too hot or if they're easing into it. So I had to literally force myself to pass a few people to remind myself that this is a half marathon. This is a different speed.
All right, mile 1 felt like 6:28.5.
For mile 2, I tried to pick up the pace just a little bit here to what I perceive to be 1 octave higher than marathon pace, and just maybe 1 short of half marathon.
Second mile felt like 6:18. Yeah. All right, now the wind's behind us.
All right, by mile 3, all of those herds kind of worked themselves down into a single file line. And then I ran into a runner, my man Jorge Munoz, and we started talking.
Woo, my first half marathon.
Let's go first half.
Do it. Woo!
25, baby. Head of the pace.
He was going for a sub 125. Now, I am quite the yapper and I have ADD, which means I slowed down a bit to talk to him and I forgot to record. Mile 3 was a 6:17. And then the funniest thing happened because Jorge, he was like, all right, man, I gotta go right around the 5K mark. And he pushed in front a little bit. And then I realized, wait a second. He's going for 125 and he's in front of me and he's outpacing me. I need to get recalibrated. So for mile 4, I pushed it up to threshold to find the line, because they say threshold you can hold for 40 minutes to 60 minutes on race day, right? And I can't run a half marathon for 60 minutes, so I'm not running the whole race up on that line. I need to be just off of it till I get within probably 45 minutes to 60 minutes and then push into that threshold. So mile 4 was finding that threshold.
All right, mile 4, we pushed up against it, threshold a little bit. I'd say 6:05. Backed off it a little because we got 9 to go.
For mile 5, I backed off a hair and I fell in stride with this really tall guy. We were running roughly the same pace from about mile 2 to mile 8 or 9. And that's the thing, you never know who's going out too hot or who's just cruising. Oh, and here's a cute dog.
All right, mile 5. I think I took the foot off the gas there a bit. 6:15. We're gonna wait till we cross the 10K. We're gonna lean into it for a 5K. Squeeze it down to 6.
Now in mile 6, despite this being a point-to-point course where you're going north to south, there are a few turns, which means you are going to encounter some wind. Now the wind was mostly behind us, but on a few of these turns, you turned right into the wind. So when I turn right here, I see my really tall friend, but he's a little bit too far in front of me, so I got to put on a surge just to get right behind him for drafting purposes. Now, I'm not sure if that's how it works. You can just get behind one really tall guy and you can draft and he can block the wind for you, or if you need a flying V, or you need to be behind a truck or whatever it is. But I figured, you know, at this point, it's worth the shot.
All right, at mile 6, I would say 6:10 pace. And if I had to guess, overall, somewhere around there is my overall pace. 6:11, I guess, I don't know. And I don't even know what that equals for a finish time.
All right, for mile 7, this is gonna be our only gel stop. The Austin International Half Marathon is sponsored by BPN. Bare Performance Nutrition. Now, I've never had a Go Bar, I've never had a Go Gel, I've never had 2 scoops of G1M Sport, and as a budget buyer, I will always go for a good deal. Well, guess what? The Go Gels at mile 7 were totally free, which qualifies as a good deal.
All right, just went straight threshold for mile 7. That was probably 5:59. We're gonna do 8 and 9 and 10 threshold and hold on to the rest.
All right, during mile 8, I actually talked to my tall friend. And I say friend, but really I don't even know his name. I think I forgot to ask his name. But anyway, it was his first half marathon also, and he was just out there seeing what he could do.
All right, now there's threshold mile in. I'm gonna guess 5:59 again. Eased up. Talk to that guy for a little bit. Do a focus and squeeze it back down.
Mile 9 has the only hill, or it's really like the only uphill mile. And if you look at the elevation profile, you can see it's not too bad. But when you're running it, you just all of a sudden start to feel it. Like you turn, and after bombing all those downhills, now you have to climb. Now it's quad check.
All right, mile 9. We're going uphill the hill here. It was probably a 6:10 again. All right, time to lean in. Threshold, quick hands, effortless, effortless.
All right, time out for the mantra of 2025. It is effortless. I saw this, I was watching a Michelle Carre YouTube video my wife was showing me and my son, where she's trying to get a black belt in 90 days. And one of the instructors, when she's trying to get one of the belts, tells her he wants her to move more effortless. And I just thought about that in running. It's like, yes, effortless. Word of 2025. Okay, this 15K marker said 59:31, and that had me tripping balls. Because like 2 years ago, I swear it said the same thing. Like I remember crossing the 15K mark 2 years ago and thinking, wow, in under an hour, I can't believe I'm this fast. Ultimately, it didn't matter because I mean, at this point, I'm just pushing.
All right, mile 10 feels like 6:10. They all feel like 6:10.
All right, in mile 11, we see Blaze, the mascot right here. I think I probably had 2 sips of water the whole time. Now, there isn't much crowd support in the Austin International Half Marathon, so you really got to use the crowd that's available. I think I did an airplane move through this turn.
Mile 11, 6:05. This is my guess. Trying to empty it out. Cruel intentions. I gotta go push my wife out from hitting the bus.
Now, up this hill was a guy in a red hat, a BPN bro. I don't know his name. He's very stocky. He's built like a brick house. A fellow short king like myself. So I knew I must have been making some good time because Jeff Cunningham, he has their coach, he has all the BPN boys running like sub 80s. And this is a nasty little hill, by the way. All right, this is in mile 12, and these 2 women were outworking me for sure. Now you can see the mile 12 marker coming up, but I forgot to film because I thought I was at a 6:12 pace after that big hill. Okay, this is mile 13. I think that's Nico Felix. I don't know. Jeremy Miller passed me in the last 5K at a certain point, and Nico Felix passed me in the last 2 miles. Choi was out in front of me the whole damn time. You know, I actually saw the Matt Choi YouTube video the night before the race in the hotel. He was saying he was going for a sub 80. So I wrote my coach, Matt Fox, and I told him, like, Sidious Mag is out here covering Mance versus Klecker, and they're totally sleeping on this Choi v. Posa. Anyway, mile 13. I misremembered this course. So I could have sworn you go down this hill, and then you book a right, and wham, there's the finish. Just like right turn, and there it is. Instead, no. You turn, and it's just like this endless stretch to the finish. Mile 13 was a 6:05, by the way. And I would have guessed probably like a 5:45 because at this point, I'm going as fast as I can. And for the 0.1, which was actually a 0.2, I think my splits, Strava tells me it's a 5:58 pace. Okay, and then down the chute here at the end, Like, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think. I couldn't focus. I tried to grab the camera, but I grabbed it on the wrong way, and my fingers totally covered the lens. So I didn't get my finish time. And then like I almost yacked. Oh, ooh, I was so cold. I was so disoriented. I was just like, and it took me like 2 minutes to even remember my name. I was just like coughing and trying not to throw up. And then I saw Eric Floberg and I said hi, and he told me he ran like a 113 high or something. That dude is so ridiculously fast. It's incredible. But I started to come out of it. And then just like, I didn't record anything is my point. I was just so out of it. I was like, I need to find my wife and I need to get out of this cold. Anyway, my official chip time was 1 hour, 20 minutes, 35 seconds, which is a 3-minute, 23-second PR from 2 years ago at the same race. So let's get to my 10 takeaways and wrap this thing up. Takeaway number 1 is that this is an effort-based race, which means there was no time goal, which also means there was no pressure to perform and hit some arbitrary number that I decided was important to me. As a consequence, because I didn't check off any sub whatever box, after the race, I felt free. Freezing cold, actually, but also free. Emotional sobriety was mine. Like, what if my goal was a sub 120 and I missed my goal by 35 seconds? And now I feel disappointed with a 3.5, close to 3.5 minute PR? Or what if I hit my goal? Then I check that box. Now I'm trying to move up the next rung on the eternal ladder of success. No. Effort-based racing means less performance pressure and more measuring success by, did I have anything left or did I give all of my effort? Which leads me to takeaway number 2. Since I did PB and I'm not on to the next one, it allows me more time to soak this in and to really enjoy the race, because that was hard. Okay, takeaway number 3, and don't roll your eyes on this one, but it's gratitude, right? The amount of support and encouragement that I received from you guys after the race. I said this last year after Houston, it's just too much. It's just like, I don't have enough time to individually respond to everyone, but just know that it is felt. Because attaboys, they go a long way in my heart. I don't know why, I'm just a words of affirmation kind of guy. So I wanted to say thank you and I appreciate you. Takeaway number 4 is I was actually pretty good on the guesses. I think I didn't nail one. Okay, I didn't nail even one of the splits, but I was pretty close on all of them. And I think with the more time and more practice, I'll get even better at it. Takeaway number 5. Okay, so takeaway 1 was freedom after the race. Takeaway number 5 is freedom inside the race. Brochachos, I'm gonna tell you, the freedom to not look at your watch, to check your pace. Or, you know, this is the first race I've ever run where I wasn't scoping the heart rate all the time, and I didn't let the heart rate influence kind of how I did the race. If I had, I would have freaked out because it was high 180s, low 190s for the last like 6 miles. No way could I hold that heart rate or pace in my head, and it might have influenced how I ran the race. Instead, I just let the heart rate go wherever it's gonna go, let the pace go wherever it's gonna go. The only thing I can control is my effort. Okay, takeaway number 6, we're gonna play devil's advocate. We're gonna go the other way. We're gonna say no effort-based training, bad effort-based training. What are the disadvantages of it? Well, it's not exactly precise. So if you are going for goal and you have a goal time because it does mean something for you, like it could get you into Boston or some other particular race, then you might want to run by pace, because I ran at 1:20:35, and if I look at it, maybe I could unearth 35 seconds in the first half of the race and try to hold on to see if I could finish it. Because if you're in the ballpark or the neighborhood of that time goal that you're going for, then I think it makes more sense to run by pace so that you don't land like 6 or 11 seconds over your goal versus under your goal. Takeaway number 7, the numbers don't lie. Okay, it's specifically the Jack Daniels VDOT calculator. For whatever reason, that one I'm in alignment with. During the week, I did a few miles at half marathon pace. I even did 1 mile at marathon pace later in the week. I put that into the Jack Daniels VDOT 625, and it spat out a half marathon prediction of a 1:20:31. Now, me covering the distance according to Strava, I covered 13.1 in 1:20:02, but with my poor tangent running, my chip time was a 1:20 35. But also given that it's mostly all downhill, my grade adjusted pace would be slower. So I'm probably right exactly where the VDOT calculator says I am. Now I'm gonna make another video on this in more detail, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to the next takeaway. Takeaway number 8, I am a slow twitch runner. I am convinced. This race has convinced me of it, because I wasn't always convinced. Because look, if you're new to the channel, I started running March 2020 in the middle of my life, hence midlife runner. Okay, I have zero running experience. All I did before was a bunch of drugs and drinking. I smoked for over a decade. Okay, I had no idea what I'm doing. Am I a cadence runner? Full of insecurities. Am I stride runner? Am I slow twitch? Am I more fast twitch? I don't know. Right? And I look at comparison, I see, oh, with Joshua Hubbard, we're about the same fitness. And that dude runs a 501 mile in blue jeans last year. I couldn't run a 501 mile down the hills on PEDs naked. But what I could do, and what I did do, was negative split this race and hold a 6:06 pace with some strong running, some slow twitch strong, some strength running down the stretch. In fact, 10K PB was 37:41, 15K 56:42, 10 mile, 1 hour, 46 seconds, 20K, 1:15:47. So a lot of those PBs were also like after the first 5K. I just got stronger as I continued to run and squeeze it down and hold pace. Slow twitch guy through and through. Takeaway number 9, because of that, I got to get with Coach Matt Fox. We got to just keep working on the speed. I got to get the faster. I just got to keep getting faster, because I'll be able to hold as long as I keep up the long runs and the endurance running. As we get to marathon training, we have to do marathon specific work. But overall, as a runner, I think I want to continue up on that mile pace, faster stuff to become a faster runner. All right, and for the 10th and final takeaway, I'm going to continue the effort-based training for the Boston Marathon, which means, doesn't make for good YouTube, but there's going to be no sub 250 series in the works, okay? Because like 250, picking a number, I don't win any money if I run under 250. I don't qualify for a race that I really want to run if I go under 250. Certainly don't even sniff the Olympics. I mean, like there's no point. And for me personally, chasing a number is like my ego can't be trusted. Okay, that's how I ended up overtraining for the Marine Corps Marathon. So going forward, we are going to continue with the effort-based training. I don't know why I'm pointing at you. Guys, if you enjoyed any of this, make sure you subscribe, join my OnlyFans or the membership on this channel. Either way, I'm good with any of it. But the next video out is going to be a 14-day cycle, 2-week training block under Matt Fox, so you can see what that's like. If you want to see any of the training that went into this half marathon PB, you could follow my Strava right here, or I might make a video on the training so you can see what all went into it. Also, I have another channel called Running Shoutout where I do live streams every Wednesday, 12 Central Standard Time. And I think that's the end of my pitches. Let's see, hold on. Oh, make sure to do an abrupt ending. Also...